Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Letterman Row. Another gorgeous day in Columbus, and training camp is finally over. I think for Reid Fragel, a former Ohio State standout NFL lineman, that's probably good news, right? Training camp's almost over. We get to talk about football.
Yeah, as a former player, it's definitely something. It's a feeling of relief, a wave of relief, kind of washes over the whole team. But they're just all probably itching to get to that first game.
And speaking of that, I think one of the most intriguing parts of this camp, which we have not get to see a lot of because of the Urban Meyer investigation, which fortunately we can all start to move on from a little bit with that 3-game suspension. But it's not just because Reid Fragel is in here, but the offensive line is one of the most fascinating positions. I think maybe this would be one of the deepest groups that an Urban Meyer team / Ryan Day, deepest, maybe most talented unit that they've had. Remember back in your final days there, Reid, in 2012, it was like you guys were always one injury away. It feels like it's a really different group than maybe what you were a part of.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was thinking the exact same thing the other day. Looking back on my senior year, we were, I think Taylor Decker, other than him, we didn't really have a whole lot of depth at the O-line position all across the board. That wasn't just center or tackle. All across the board, we didn't really have any depth like they do now. So you kind of headed into the season with this feeling of comfort in a way that, it's not a worry. It's not going to be a worry this season like maybe it was my senior year.
Yeah, it's interesting to see some of these position battles, how they're going to play out and shake out. I don't know that even Ohio State has to settle on one unit. There's sort of that debate, Reid. Is it better to just pick 5 and roll with it and let that chemistry develop, or do you mix and match a little bit? Because I think this is also a unit that has a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, I think they're really versatile, and I think with that, you also got to kind of balance the whole psyche thing to the whole line aspect. I know as a player, when you get rotated, it's not something that you enjoy necessarily. Yeah. It's something
guy wants to be on the field.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hockey goalie. You want to keep them in there. You don't want to pull them out. When you start pulling them, you kind of get in their heads. And that's the similar feeling with football, I think, is, as a left tackle, you don't want to be rotating him with a guy or have him feel like he's going to be coming out to the third quarter or whatever it may be. So I think you do have to establish a 5 and go with it.
So even with this group, we'll see exactly who takes the field against Oregon State next Saturday. But it appears at this point that Thayer Munford is going to be that first-time starter at left tackle. Isaiah Prince, who Reid has broken down previously, will be back at right tackle, dramatically improved over the last couple of years. And then it gets a little interesting in the middle because, Reid, I've seen, and maybe this is one of the more fascinating developments, Michael Jordan at 6'7", 6'8", some of that Reid Fragel type size in there at center. Does that surprise you that he might make that move? How difficult could that be if you're snapping at that size? I mean, take me through what you would see there.
Yeah, and that was the first I've heard of that move. And I just kind of immediately envisioned myself trying to snap a football. And it's not pretty, but, he's athletic enough to do it. It's just one of those things as a lineman, I think about the quarterback behind me. Mm-hmm. And so with Dwayne, I'm not sure exactly how tall he is comparatively, but I know just from my experience, I prefer to have a guy like Corey Linsley in there who you can clearly see over the top of.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting parts, right? I mean, Billy Price and Pat Elflein, we've talked about Ohio State moving guards to center. It's a transition that's worked. Both of those guys won the Remington Trophy, but they were not 6'7". And then imagine you take Dwayne Haskins out at 6'3" and you go to Tate Martell, who's probably my height at 5'10". So I could just line up behind you right now and we could get an idea of how difficult
exactly.
that might be.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. So we'll see how it plays out, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be great to see that. I mean, I think everybody loves to see Ohio State with those dominant offensive lines. You've been a part of one a couple of years ago and went undefeated. As a matter of fact, Capstop brought you in today so that you could talk about the offensive line. Show us what you got over there.
They sure did. Capstop here. You can get them at capstop.com. It's an magnetic beer opener. So it holds probably about 20 beer tops right there. You can stick it on the side of your fridge, and you can get any custom image on it. So if you're a Ohio State fan like this year, they got the licensing rights, so you can go ahead and get them right off their website at capstop.com.
It's got that Block O on it for you, and we've got a cooler over there in the corner that's about to get one of that on there too, so that we can crack some brews. But that's Reid Fragel. Thanks so much for Capstop for having him stop by again to contribute for us at Letterman Row. He's Reid Fragel. I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time.